Good evening and welcome to the Mancunian Way. Wednesday night, another game ticked off, and Manchester City go 12 points clear. 12 points clear. 2 games, yes, we know Liverpool got 2 games in hand, but still good to be 12 points clear after a comfortable 2-0 win at home to Brentford. We've got Rich and Rob are with us. Rich, how are you, mate?
Hello. Very good, very good. A good, kind of relaxed morning for City.
Oh, we haven't got Rob. It's just me and Rich. There we go. So, yeah. Rich, go on, continue, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I thought it was, one of those games that I think are going to be really important to us, seeing out the season, not having to really exert ourselves to the extremes, but relatively comfortable. I never really felt like we weren't going to win it, but I never really felt like we were going to have to, kill ourselves to get there. And, it was, Brentford were, they were neither the most defensive team, the most boring team I've seen come, nor did they really threaten us, terribly. And I think we were just probably playing at, in second gear, third gear, not quite the quality of our passing and chance creation we've had. And, more some, great moments than just solidly brilliant football.
Definitely. I mean, let's go through the team first of all, Rich, because there was a surprise that everyone popped up. Everyone's been begging. Turn it off, Rich. Notifications. Everyone knows how much Rob and myself and everyone else loves the Barnsley Beckenbauer. And he popped up at right back tonight. Did that surprise you, Rich? Because I tell you what, I thought he did really well there. I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, I think he has. I mean, he hasn't played there that often, but generally they've been. I think it was about 2 months ago he played right back, and we had one of our, best wins of the season. So he does well when he's there. He's a clever footballer. He can pass, and he's not a slouch. He's not Walker pace, but he's not slow either. So I think he's rock solid, and it's like Ake playing at left back. Who's looked pretty good this season. I think we've got 2 centre backs who, if we're not getting enough games and we don't have the depth at fullback, can play there at high quality.
Yeah. What did you make of the? I mean, obviously the back line we had Edison with Stones, Diaz, Laporte. We're backing together. Cancelo at left back, who I thought had a really good game.
Yeah, I don't know if he's left back. He was more playing up front for me most of the time.
Yeah,
Cancelo, I thought he had a magical game. He was brilliant at times, and if only his finish after jinking through past 3 players in their box, it's just showed his technique and his quality. If only he'd been able to finish that, it would have been, a little bit of King Clancy coming back for nostalgia. No, I mean, the only surprise for me is I just wish we'd picked Gundogan more often. I do think that we're
gone down the pecking order on
the team. He has, and I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, I don't think he's not played well when he's played, and and I think Bernardo and Rodri just play that little bit better with Gundogan than they do.
Yeah, because you know what? I thought Rodri was shaky tonight, and he was shaky in his previous game he played, and the standout difference is there was no Silky Ilka.
Yeah.
Next to him.
No, I think that's
Hi, Rich. It's game management. We've got a lot of games coming up. We're playing on Saturday. We're playing in the midweek in the Champions League. Our best midfield 3 is Rodri, Bernardo, and Ilkay Gundogan, without a shadow of a doubt. But we've got tonight was a game, Saturday's a game, and then Tuesday, I believe, is a game. So Ilkay Gundogan at the age of 31 can't play every single minute of every single match, so it's game management. But you are completely right that our best central 3 is without doubt Gundogan, Bernardo, Rodri.
Yeah.
You say that though,
Rob,
right. But he has missed a lot of games recently. And I know, like Manny just said about his back issues. If you look, I think, hasn't he missed before tonight in the last game? I think he missed the last time.
Just managing a 31-year-old with back issues.
Well, if he's at his peak in April and May, then great.
No, I don't know why you're pulling that face. They're managing a 31-year-old with back issues. I don't know what the face is
because
for.
I don't think it's just that. Because I think, because literally he had 5 or 6 games where he was not even involved. So there's managing it, and then there's, but he literally was out. He's been out a while.
Yeah, well, we'll see. As long as he's good to go at the end of the season, in the business end, that may make a lot of sense. And I don't think we need to be winning 5-0 a game like this and really, maximising ourselves anyway. But I think you're quite right. Rodri, who for me is I've said before, I think about our best player this season. He's not quite, been at the races at his absolute best the last couple of games. And, maybe that's a bit of time off, mate. Maybe it's mid-season fatigue. Maybe it's, Gundogan and the glue in that midfield, or maybe a bit of all of them.
Can I go on to Riyad Mahrez? Because we have someone 2-0. Mahrez got the opening penalty. The opener threw a penalty through Raheem Sterling, who some people very surprised. I thought he had an okay game tonight. People at the stadium were battering him again, especially when he missed that chance for the second goal. He has sort of had a bit of a battering this evening by some of the fans. But saying that, I thought it was like a morgue in there anyway. It was like a funeral service. It was quiet as anything tonight. Yeah. There was just nothing in that stadium tonight, unfortunately.
Well, can I have my little rant now? Sterling was great in the first half, absolutely fantastic, did everything you wanted him to do. When he got that ball and he went forward and got the penalty for us, that really changed the flow of the game, because until that point, Brentford were doing what you'd expect from Brentford. They were playing 11 defenders and were blocking everything. So Raheem Sterling's penetrating run was excellent. The actual situation probably wouldn't have led to a goal. But the fact of the matter is, he got us a penalty and got us into the driving seat in the game. So anyone who's against Riyad Mahrez, and anyone who's against Raheem Sterling is a bit of an idiot, because he got us into the game, he got us in control, got us in the driving seat. So that's that. Martin commented about the stadium being a bit of a morgue. Well, before kick-off, they turned the lights off, and I thought that might have been some issue to do with what the general public's going through at the minute with electricity prices and gas prices rising. I thought even it had affected the Etihad. That's a joke, but never mind. It's clearly not worked on Martin. And then to welcome our guests, Brentford, they played Hey Jude, which is a Scouse anthem, which is favoured by Brentford. It's not as if Manchester hasn't got at least 500 or 600 bands that have got songs better than anything that Liverpool's ever produced, but we persist with the Scouse anthem. As I said, to welcome our Brentford guests, because that's the song that they like and they come out to. So yeah, other than that, wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. It certainly it did seem a bit, dead on telly, but I guess it's one of those games.
Oh yeah, and then you had those petulant young Manchester United fans in disguise as City fans again, singing City, tearing Cockneys apart again. I think that's all fun and games when we're playing against the Chelsea or we're playing against the Man United. But we've had one City YouTuber this week get into the mud for claiming he didn't know where Peterborough was. And while we know that was a bit of a joke, tongue-in-cheek, well played to that lad, because his audience misunderstood him, but whatever. We know where Peterborough is, because we've got a history with Peterborough. I don't care if you respect or disrespect Brentford, but City tearing Cockneys apart when we've only just eked a 2-0 win. Yeah, we had 75% possession. Yeah, we had 7 shots on target, and if they weren't playing with a flat-back 11... perhaps, or if we were slightly more potent, we might have got more goals on the night. Sure.
But it's one of those games where, 9 times out of 10 we win them, and it just a bit flat because of that.
Well,
Whereas
yeah,
actually,
at the end of the day, though, Rich,
that'll steal the title.
we at the end of the day, though, mate, we came out with a 2-0 win at home against Brentford, and we are currently 12 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Granted, Liverpool have potentially got 2 games advantage over us, and they've got to play us at the Etihad in a couple of weeks' time, but I'd rather be in our position than their position, so, cheer up, everybody. Whether you win 2-0 or whether you win 22-0, 3 points is 3 points. Fact.
Oh, definitely. And the reality is we only have to, if we win our home games, regardless of what goes on away, it's going to be incredibly hard for Liverpool to catch us. So, every time we get one of those wins, that's one of the maybe 5 or 6 banana skin opportunities that, we have to slip up on to let Liverpool back in. So, I do think the weekend will be a slightly more difficult one because Norwich are, as much as I still think they're going down and Newcastle will stay up, they've caused us problem 2 years ago when we lost there. And, they are in better form of late. So, I think we'll have to, be on our game this weekend to keep up that run.
I mean, yeah, I still think it will come down to the Liverpool game at the Etihad in April. That will be the key one. Because if they keep 6 and we somehow mess up and get beat, it's down to 3, and then you're at squeaky bum time again. So it's all going to come down to that game in April. Because, the thing is, you've got Liverpool who can go on an amazing run and win 12-13 on the bounce. And you've got ourselves who can go on and win 13 or 14, 15 on the bounce. Or 20. So either team can do it.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of 50-50 on whether it'll be a big game. There's part of me that thinks, especially after the AFCON and the players coming back and, some of the, breaking momentum, there's part of me that thinks we might see Liverpool slip up a couple of times before City do. And that game in April we might be 12 clear with one, them level on games or one game in hand, and it might be a nothing game. Equally, if they can put that run together of, however many, win 5 or 6 games, however many it is before that game, then maybe. But I don't know.
Thing is, they are capable, Rich. I know Jack Lee.
I'm not really worried about Liverpool. I don't know why we're worried about Liverpool. I mean, literally, Salah and Mane have just played each other in an AFCON final, and they now want to murder each other.
I'm not worried.
The 12 points behind us. Now, I don't believe that they actually are capable of putting together 12 or 13 game win. Look at the first half of the season. They've drawn 6 games. They're very inconsistent, actually. Yes, they are second in the league, blah, 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 but they've drawn 6 games. They've lost the same amount of games as us. We know exactly why we lost those games. I don't think, when you look at the 2 Liverpool losses this season, they can't turn around and go, right, well, if we would just tweak this a little bit, we're winning. Whereas with us, we actually can do that. So there's just so much breathing room between us and
They've
Liverpool.
Got a lot of hard games as well. I mean, they've got,
We've done Chelsea away, Liverpool away, United away, Arsenal away, Tottenham away. Like, literally everything's in our hands. Everything's in our hands.
It's pretty much only West Ham we've got to play at home, isn't it, in the top, got to play away, in the top echelons of the league. And Liverpool got a lot of hard games.
And we've got the derby at home.
Yeah, you think about Liverpool have got to play the same games as us, except for the fact they've got 2 games extra in the Premier League, one of which has to be fitted in before we play them, possibly 2. They've got to play Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. They've had all their players, not all of them, but they've had their best players playing away in the AFCON, working hard and playing extra time and stuff when ours have been resting. So, and then they've got, I'd say Inter Milan's going to be a harder Champions League group than ours. And they've got to, play West Ham, go away to Brighton, away to Burnley. I just think that, before they play us, they've got, 10, 12 hard games. And then they're going to come to us on the back of that period. I don't know. I think they'll have dropped points and before then.
Oh dear. Anyway, we'll move on. Because I'm sure we did a stream about arrogance the other day and cockiness.
No,
everyone's roaming around like we just turn up.
It's not. I don't believe that it's cocky.
Comes across as
It's not cocky or arrogant to suggest the fact that we've played the hard fixtures already away from home.
But you've just said Liverpool are capable. Liverpool have got 90 points. Seasons on the bounce. They have done that in the past.
Not now.
We're talking last season or the season before.
Before, and Van Dijk's a lot weak. Van Dijk's a lot weaker than he was. Salah and Mane want to murder each other, and they're knackered. And they've got to come to Fortress Etihad.
So have United, and we know what our record's like against them.
But we're still 12 points ahead of them.
Yeah,
2 games in hand though.
Okay, let's say that they win those 2 games. We're 6 points ahead of them.
Yeah, that's what I said. Was it comes down to that Liverpool game in April? That's all I said.
No, you said that we were cocky and arrogant. Everything's statistically in our favour.
Yeah,
I'm not denying that, but I'm not going to say it's done dusted and away we go.
Yeah,
sorry.
Not once did I say that it was done dusted and away we go. Not once did any. I didn't say that.
I think there's a 50% chance that game in April will be a dead rubber, and 50% it's going to be game on. I guess I'm just saying I'm not assuming, and I don't think that the likelihood is Liverpool are going to win 12 games on the trot before we play them. I think the likelihood is, they'll win 7 or 8 of those games, a couple of defeats, maybe cup defeats, maybe league defeats. But I just think they'll go there, probably, as likely 9 or 12 behind as they will be 3 or 6. That's all I'm saying. Maybe they will get that run. I just think it's hard. They've got to play 2-3 more games than us. They've got finals in that. They've got harder Champions League, and they've got games in hand and tighter players. And I do think that they don't manage their playing squad as well as we do. I think they rely too much on.
It's not only that, but if they lose Van Dijk, they've got no one to replace him. If Salah or Mane pick up a knock, they've got Firmino and this Jota. We've got so much more depth in a smaller squad, which sounds really weird, but we have. If we lose Diaz or Laporte, we've got Stones, Ake. It's just and again, 12 points clear. They've got 2 games in hand. But how many times have we seen a team have 2 games in hand, 3 games in hand, and they win 1, draw 1, and lose 1? Until they've played those fixtures, I'm not worried about them.
And Rob, I think you allude to a very good point. In terms of managing the squad, is that we go into every game not having a clue who's going to play centre back for us. We don't know whether it's going to be Laporte and Stones, whether it's going to be, Diaz and Stones, whether it's going to be Laporte and Diaz, whether it's going to be Ake and Stone. And honestly, at the moment, the drop-off is not that great between some of those combinations. And
Chris, is
that
when
front three?
Is that when he was on the bench, Chris? Is that when he was on the bench slumping like mine?
Who?
Oh, Chris just accused Grealish of looking good for the first 67 minutes.
Well, he's probably looking very quick.
I thought when he came on, he had a decent run.
Yeah. But I think that's where we are different to Liverpool and the length of the seat. Why Liverpool, possibly why Liverpool have won a Champions League and we haven't in recent years, but definitely why we've dominated them in the league, is that we can rotate, whereas Liverpool have probably 9 or 10 players who they'll play every week if they can. And when one of those is out, they're suddenly learning a new way to play. Whereas ultimately now, apart from the fact that we probably only have 4 midfielders playing for those 3 midfield berths, because we tend to have, Rodri, Bernardo, Gundogan and De Bruyne up front and at the back, we don't have a clue who's going to be picked. We could go in and it could be Grealish, Sterling and Jesus, or it could be Foden, Mahrez and Sterling, and the same at the back. And I think that gives us the ability to keep our level much more consistent, which I think it's more of a challenge for a team who just try and play the same 11 every week.
I love how the world's best centre half had to play right back to get minutes. Every time I've seen Stones play at right back, he's been amazing. Started at Everton. If anyone remembers back when he was at Everton, he was great at right back. Wonderful guy. Love him so much. Would have his babies.
Well, did anyone think of Foden tonight in that false 9 position?
I don't think Foden's been at his best in recent games. I liked him playing there back in probably October, November time. I think he was playing very well there. I don't think he's looked quite at his best, but I think that's partly because he just hasn't had consistent football probably since quite a few weeks before Christmas. I think with COVID and with breaks and with injuries and with disciplinary and all that together, I just don't think he's in a flow and he's in his best form. So hopefully we'll give him a few games on the trot. Hopefully we'll possibly I'd like to see him play against Norwich and next week in the Champions League, because I think he needs some games to get his full confidence and form back.
So personally, I'd have left Grealish off on the bench and I brought Delap in that number 5. At 2-0, their defence was tired.
I agree with you, Martin. Yeah. I think Delap, because like I said, I mean, like the 15 shots we had, 7 of them were on target. If you've got someone who's more clinical in that 6 to 18 yard box area, like Delap potentially could be, he would have. I think it would have been a 3 or 4, if not 5 tonight. So yeah, I certainly would have brought Delap on. I think Phil Foden. I don't know what to say or do about Phil Foden at the minute, because I think you've just got to persist with him and keep him in the team.
Yeah,
he wasn't awful tonight, but he wasn't the best we've seen. So. Yeah. It's just difficult with the lad. And the only thing I'd say is just keep him in the team. Keep him in the team until he plays himself either in form or out of form. And then you can make a decision. But based on tonight's form, I wouldn't drop him based on tonight. I think it'd be unfair. Because, like I said, it wasn't his greatest game, but it wasn't awful.
Yeah, I think he needs games. I think you're right. He needs to play himself back into form. And every young lad's going to have dips in form, mentally, physically, everything else. And I just think, if we let him play himself back into form now, we can have prime Foden. In fact, probably better than prime Foden at the end of the season. And that's what we really want. I'd rather, we have a few dips in form now and players get back into form at the end of the season than what happened a little bit last year, which was everyone hit their best form, through the middle of winter. And we started to see a drop-off in form, and maybe it was fatigue, but we did start to see a bit of a drop-off in April and May from players like Rodri.
Martin, what did you make of 2 things, Martin? What did you make of John Stones at Cam tonight? And what did you make of Riyad Mahrez on the whole? Actually, Riyad Mahrez first half and Riyad Mahrez second half. You tell me about that.
Well, Mahrez, if you look at his face, had a smacked ass when he got subbed. I don't know why, because that was Mahrez of a year ago. Now, I've had this debate with Mahrez for so long. And when he first comes to the club, he did his normal right foot, drop the shoulder, into the left, and he was very predictable. And then he learned and he went to short passes and was getting more involved in the game. And then every so often, he reverts back to type. And to me, he did it again tonight. Yes, he scored the penalty. And I know he's our top goal scorer, but let's put it on, way. When Gabby's fit, the way he's playing, Gabby's going straight back into that right-hand side. For me. Because I don't think he's contributing enough overall. And that sounds crazy when you look at his goals and you look at the overall statistics from him. Yeah. But you made a point during the game, stat padder, and that's how he looks at the minute. And I know before we get all the hate from all the Mahrez fans and lovers, he literally looks like a stat padder right now. Because he isn't doing it. He isn't contributing in the game. if you look at the stats and you go, assists, Mahrez, goals, Mahrez, you'd put on the game and you'd think, oh, wow, can't wait to watch the Mahrez show. You'd watch the game and go, so he scored 2 goals, got an assist, that was it.
Yeah, and I think
he did now, it helps.
For me, Martin, if we get to the end of the season and we're playing Real Madrid in the semi-finals or Liverpool in the semi-finals, whatever
he isn't getting in.
Champions League, I want Jesus playing because I think against...
I want start of the season Jesus playing. Because Jesus at the start of the season, oh boy.
Yeah.
Weren't he great, Martin?
I
want him.
See, this is another thing that's going on, mate. Tonight, I was dead happy. McAtee, the lap on the bench. I know they're only there because Jesus is injured. But anyway, that's another side annoyance that I've got at the moment. But, yes, to me, it was a performance of champions. Not playing well. Get through it. I just wish, you can always tell, I've said this till I'm blue in the face, the tempo of this team. You can tell in the first 5 minutes what game you're getting. And you could tell, and I know I've moaned about the stadium, but it goes hand in hand if you look. When the team's up, the stadium goes up. When the stadium's flat and the team are flat, they're all flat together. I'd like it to, sometimes the fans need to get behind the team, which they should have done tonight, and they didn't. And sometimes the team have got to get the fans up. Yeah. And tonight, they were just both flat.
Well, what did I say to you before the game? I said to you before the game that it's been a while since we've smacked somebody. And City teams over the last 3 or 4 years, we get to this stage of the season and we have a little bit of a dip and then we go out and spank someone, don't we?
Yeah.
We've done it
usually
4 or 5 years on the bounce. And tonight looked, at least on paper, like it was going to be that game. It was going to be that game to get all the fans on side, to get everyone bouncing in the seats, to maybe do a Poznan or something like that. And it, you know what I mean, though, right?
So want to pause that.
No, but you know what I mean. It's been a thing that's been going on 4, 5, maybe 6 years in a row now. We spank somebody. You get the North Stand, Family Stand, whatever, doing a Poznan. You get idiots in third tier East Stand doing a Poznan. Everyone's merry, everyone's jovial, everyone's happy. But it's almost as... It could have happened tonight. Like I said, we had 7 shots on target, and with an Aguero or a... I don't know. With an out-and-out guy who's only got eyes for goal tonight, we could have had that 4, 5, 6, 7, and it would have been the Poznan, and everyone would have left the ground happy. But even this is the weird thing with City these days. We've come away from home with a 2-0 win and got 3 points. We're top of the league by 12 points. Yeah. And it's as if there's like lead weights around everyone's bloody neck.
Yeah, and it is a weird one.
We need that.
And do you know what?
When's the next game? Honestly,
the next game is Norwich.
No. What I'm saying is, it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't have to go out and absolutely spank somebody 6-7-0 to get emotion out of the crowd.
There will be a Tottenham game,
and I'm not. I know, but I'm not trying to bait the crowd, and I'm not trying to punish the crowd or spank the crowd or get down on the crowd. I'm just saying, like, it's almost as if the City of Manchester needs that fixture where we just absolutely spank somebody at home, get everyone in a party mood.
And you know what? It's like tonight. You were reading the WhatsApp messages, and you and Ronnie saying to me, "What's up with you, Martin?" And do you know what? Maybe it was me being in that stadium tonight, around that whole atmosphere. And I want to try and get an atmosphere going. And you know me, I love an atmosphere, but you could just tell that team needed the fans to lift them tonight. Because Brentford came and they were stubborn bastards. They were exactly
this is what I'm saying.
They were stubborn bastards.
What is it a syndrome of, Martin? This is what I'm asking. I'm asking you to get to the root of it. What is it a syndrome of? Are we just spoilt rotten at this point? Or is there just a funky grey cloud over us? And I know that people watching at home and people who have watched this on TV and people who can actually take it for what it is, which is 3 points at home.
Yeah.
You might be thinking that we're talking crazy right now, but honestly, it is like there's a bit of a grey cloud. It's almost as if Manchester's dry and there's no more bay. It's really weird.
Well, you just upset Chris and Ronnie. Chris and Ronnie have just had major attacks.
It's as if we're 2 years into prohibition and that last bottle of port's run out. It's just a bit like I said before the game started. They turned the lights off, and it sort of felt like they didn't turn them back. No, but I'm saying it kind of felt like they didn't turn them back on again.
They were doing some crappy.
It's just weird.
They were doing some crappy smoke effect tonight. I don't know what that was even about.
Christian,
I don't know.
Christian Catley, Christian, honestly, mate, don't get the wrong impression from me. I am not the guy that says we should win every game 4 or 5-0. I'm not that guy, mate. I praise Allah, Jesus, and whoever else when City win 1-0 and don't get relegated by Christmas. I'm that guy. I'm never expecting us to win every game 4 or 5-0. Not in the slightest. I am not that guy. And hopefully, if you've been listening to this channel for a while, you know I'm not that guy. But
we're not questioning.
At the same token, it's just on repeat. Like I remember a couple. Do you remember under Mancini when we went to Norwich? Funnily enough, and Tevez came back, and we absolutely spanked Norwich at Carrow Road. We absolutely spanked him. All was forgiven with Tevez. The dark cloud had lifted because the dark cloud at that time was the fact that United were going to win the league again. Obviously, they didn't. We won it.
Yeah, I didn't like his golf swing celebration.
I get it. But that day, fine words from an atheist. Yeah, I'm not an atheist. I'm an agnostic. Because I think it would be pretty wrong of any mere mortal to assume that they know the finite answers in life, Christopher. Nobody does. But that day at Carrow Road, I was there, and it was like 10-ton weights were stripped from my neck, and the grey cloud went away. It was, and that's what I'm saying at the minute at the Etihad. The Etihad kind of needs that night. Maybe when do we play Lisbon at home or away? We play at home, don't we?
We're away.
Oh, sorry, we're away. By the time Lisbon come to the Etihad, maybe that'll be the night for it. I don't know. But we need.
Anyone who's in the comments right now,
we just need that night. We need that night. We need that night, or we need that Saturday evening game where we just pump somebody.
Maybe we'll batter United. Maybe.
Yeah, but the thing is, if everyone in the comments now thinks me and Rob are having a brain fart, and we're not. What we're saying is the thing we don't get is this is the greatest team we've ever had. The best manager.
That's what's so ironical about it, Martin. The fact that this is the greatest football we've ever witnessed, and we're still a bit miserable.
I'm not, and I'm sorry. And the thing is, like, you must Ronnie tonight in the comments what I was like in the WhatsApp group. I was being a miserable ass because I'm sat there and I'm going, we're winning a game, and I might as well have got my book out and read because I felt like I was in a library. And I don't get it. And I don't understand what has happened. As we're getting better, the stadium atmosphere is going worse.
But
I'm not kidding.
I think it's just a grey cloud we need to shake off. And I think Norwich is like Andrew's there. Andrew's doing that stupid drive to Norwich. Good luck to you on that one, mate. I hate going to Norwich. It's an awful place to drive to. It's great when we go there and win. And like I said a minute ago about when Tevez came back and we smacked him. Let's hope that happens. We need a bit of that party atmosphere again. We're Manx. The thing is,
it was a bit quiet tonight.
We're Manx. We're self-deprecating people. We're a little bit down on ourselves, but we also find the macabre laugh. Manchester is it's like, if you've ever heard of a type of film called a black comedy, it's where horrific and horrendous things happen, but something's funny about it at the same time, and you can't quite gauge why it's funny, and you also judge yourself for it being funny, and that's what Manchester is. But at the minute, it seems like a little bit more like an Adam Sandler film where there are no laughs, and there's just.
Do you know what it is with us? It's like we are people who enjoy misery and pain. Because I'm telling you what, when we're shit or we're getting beat, the atmosphere bounces. When we win, we don't seem to want it. Maybe it's the city. I don't get it, and I do get why. And listen, when we started this channel, we wanted to bridge this gap between old and new fans. Some people are making it very, very harder to do it. I'm not going to go into it. They're making it a lot harder to do than what I would like it. But It doesn't. I just don't get it.
And anyway, I think we should get off here because it could be perceived as fan bashing, and we're not. I'm not fan bashing.
Yeah, we're not.
I'm not
we're
fan
not
bashing.
because I love it. I'm wondering. Can I ask a question on man of the match? Because everyone's saying Cancelo. I gave it to Stones. Am I just being a bit biased?
No, not really. I don't think there was.
I
think Cancelo had a decent game. I don't think he was like. See, do you know them games where the man on the match is the guy that scores the 1 goal in a 1-0 win, and you'd like
Kevin De Bruyne,
and he's got he's got the man of the match simply because he scored the goal that won the game, which obviously that is like a standout moment because it gets you the 3 points. I get it, but on the whole of things, like Stones was clear the man of the match.
Rich, who was your man of the match?
Yeah, I probably would have gone to Cancelo because I thought he had, in what was a relatively, not that exciting game, I thought the moments of magic for me, some of the best passes, some of the best runs and stuff were Cancelo. And I thought in some ways he looked our most dangerous attacker. But, that's probably partly judging him on the fact he didn't actually have to do his fullback job at all. And he just got to show his attacking skills, which I think are unbelievable. But, I think the general consistency, the call for Stones is pretty good. I mean, one thing I say, Cancelo had a third of our attempts on goal, which is quite, which shows how far off the pitch he was. Yeah, but it was, Stones had a good game.
Really, Rich? That's the thing, though, really. Me and Martin are not crying out here going, why the hell was Cancelo man of the match? We're not. It's not that. Yeah. It's just, we had a different preference, that's all.
Well, if you look at Guardiola actually praises Cancelo and Stones together with their movement. So it just tells you, if you've got Cancelo or you've got Stones, you're on the same level as the boss anyway, because we've all seen their movement and the way they were dragging players around that pitch.
Absolutely.
So like you say, Rich, Cancelo going that far up the pitch is dragging players with him. John Stones going into Cam because he had Jack to do it right back. You're dragging players
out. Happy birthday, Jack Lee. Jack Lee, happy birthday, mate. Happy birthday, Jack Lee. I hope we beat Sporting and Tottenham.
And one thing about
happy birthday, Jack Lee.
But seriously, Martin's completely right. I don't care who got man of the match tonight. I care about the 3 points, and both were great. So.
And do you know what? With our fullbacks, I think they operate, and we've talked about this before. With you don't really want Walker and Ake together, but if you've got Cancelo, you want Walker or Stones with him. And if you're playing Ake, you can have Cancelo right back. I think that, Cancelo needs a better defensive right back or left back, depending where he's playing, to be at his best. So you almost need the pair. Our fullbacks work as a pair. One has to be able to...
They can drop into a 3
or
they can press.
For the other. So if one plays badly, the other won't play well. And... therefore, Stones had to have a great game for Cancelo to have the game he did in a funny sort of way. So I think, that you almost say, right, fullback's man of the match today.
I'll go along with that, Rich. Absolutely go along with that. I just want
one's on the right, one's on the left.
I just want to bring something up to you, Martin. So quite a few times during the game, Pep kept pulling Mahrez and was bending his ear and twisting his ear. What was he supposed to be doing that he didn't do? And by the way, I've just read Ronnie Beaver's comment. Kevin De Bruyne was almost at right back at some points tonight because he was running his backside off. So I'll give him credit for that.
Like I say,
but Mahrez, I've just said to you that Pep Guardiola kept bending his ear.
I don't think he was coming back a lot. What I'd like him to do. I mean, I didn't really keep an eye on that, so I did miss that, if I'm honest with you. If I couldn't go on what I saw, and I saw Mahrez not... Sounds really awful to say this. I don't think he put a shift in Fuller. I really don't. I just thought he was a bit... He looks... How do I put this in a way that sounds not like I'm crucifying him? Because he is a good player. But he's an annoying little sod.
Well, he's our top goal scorer, mate. And I know that he's a stats padder a little bit, but he's still our top goal scorer.
Hang on a minute. Harry Kane's one of the greatest ever strikers.
Well, no, man, come on. I literally just said I know he's a stats padder. But
I know.
Still, he scored the penalty.
Yeah,
there are things he got right. How many times have City had a penalty to decide a game and we fluffed it? So at least he scored it.
I want him on every penalty now because I think he can hit them low, high, wide, all sorts. Side netting, he can put them in every area. And the keepers aren't getting near him. And that's a good thing.
I'm with Jack Lee. I'm with Jack Lee. As long as he keeps scoring, I'm happy. But I just wanted to bring that point up, though, about Pep Guardiola pulling him and bending his
Did anyone see what Brentford's goalkeeping coach was doing tonight all through the game? With, is it the name of their goalie? It's gone. If anyone watched it and saw it, Andrew and Rob, you might see it. Their goalkeeping coach and coaches were constantly in their goalie's ear about his distribution. And it came off in about, I think it was like the 80th minute, 78th minute, when the goalkeeper comes flying out and it's an half volley to the others from right to left, which was beautiful to see. But it was just interesting to sit there and watch his coach have a go at him and constantly. Do you know when I said to you about Grealish needing coaching during games? I watched that tonight from the Brentford side.
Did you say Grealish should drive the coach to the games?
well, he'd be able to do that properly. I know. I'm not going to make that joke. But yeah, for me, I'd have had Grealish sat there. I was a bit upset tonight. I'd like Pep to have. Grealish was on the bench. I'd love Pep to have been constantly in Grealish's ear, pointing, look, this is what you're meant to be doing. But he didn't. But I saw that tonight from the Brentford goalkeeping coach, and I thought that was really interesting to see. And he didn't give up. He did well, and he eventually got one through because they're clearly working on his distribution is Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank, after the game, has said we're the best team in the world. Listen, that's up for debate. I thought it was a bit of a funny.
Thanks for noticing, but aren't Chelsea on course to becoming the best team in the world, soon as they've made it to the wood? Yeah, it is a wooden trophy. The Club World Cup Championships or whatever waffle that is.
Pep has said that Chelsea are actually the best team in the world because they've won the Champions League. Hey. By the way, Andrew, no, they won't be saving Walker for the Champions League because he's out. They have appealed that 3-game ban. Remember a couple of weeks ago we said that they weren't going to appeal it. They're now going to appeal it because they feel after reviewing the coverage and looking at similar incidents that were sent off, they feel that City have been hardly done by. Hard done by. I'll be honest with you.
Hardly done by or hardly done by?
I think it's a bit of a risk because they could end up.
I wouldn't appeal it. I wouldn't appeal it in a million.
I wouldn't appeal it.
That's the first word.
It
was a red. It was a red, and if they appeal it, they're idiots.
But isn't?
Oh, they have appealed it. Yeah, they have appealed it now.
But isn't he getting a 3-game ban, which is what normally someone gets for going in 2-footed, breaking someone's rib? I mean,
play the game. He literally wound his leg back and kicked him like he was sending him into Roll's head.
Yeah.
He had no intention of getting the ball.
Oh, it was petulant and stupid, but yeah.
He literally wound his leg back and went, have it. Everyone see that John Smith Peter Kay advert? It was
that's an interesting point that Ronnie Beaver's just raised there in the chat. I think that he will persist with Stones. No. The sensible thing is to persist with Stones at right back for the Champions League game, which means Cancelo will play there and Aki will play left back. And there's nothing wrong with that either, to be honest. That's the beautiful thing, isn't it, Ronnie? We've just got options, mate.
Well, that's what Andrew's saying. Is Pep Stone's gone there to prep him? And I think what you're saying spot on, Rob. I think it is that.
Fair. You know, I think
I never thought of it that way.
If Stones is in better form than Walker, there are a lot of games when Stones would be a better option at right back than Walker. I mean, clearly.
Is Kyle Walker injured as well at the minute, or what?
No, he was on the bench tonight.
Right. So okay. So he'll be playing. You can assume that he'll be playing against Norwich at the weekend. And then he probably will, it's Cancelo or Stones for right back against Lisbon, isn't it? So whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it's all good. I'm confident with either of the combinations.
Well,
he's not going to play right back, but he might get a shout at left back. But I think that there might be other issues going on with Zinchenko at the minute, Martin. So,
yeah, of course, we know what's going on in his home country at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think the good thing is now that if against Lisbon next week, we name Aki at left back, or we name Stones at right back, I'm not going to, blink with concern about that. I think both of them have shown they can do a job. And in some ways, either of those playing with Cancelo, I'm quite happy with.
I've not, Abdallah, mate. I've not forgot about Zinchenko in the slightest, mate. But the problem is that we don't. I don't even know why I'm saying this, but it's kind of the truth. We don't actually need our left back and right back to defend in that many games. Now, statistically, Zinchenko over about 2 or 3 seasons is our best aerial defender. And you'll think, well, that's a bit weird because he's not exactly tall. But yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's our best aerial defender. But when do we defend? That's the problem with Zinchenko. Zinchenko is a centre attacking midfielder that would get in 17 out of the 20 Premier League teams. As it stands, he can't even get in our team at left back because we don't technically need a defender. So we haven't forgot about Zinchenko. I think Zinchenko's fantastic, but we don't need him as a defender.
But I think he'll be off because I think Aki's even ahead of him now at left back. And that's sad because I love Zinchenko, despite what Waffle Merchant said there. I do like
Zinchenko's been a great servant to the club, but at the end of the day, when you look at and this might sound contentious, but the intent is not contentious. When Fabian Delph was at the club, he was actually, on the whole, he was a good servant to the club.
Yeah.
But you're not picking him in your starting 11 when everyone's fit. Give me another example, Martin, of players that have done that role. Fabian Delph, by the way, who was pivotal in our Centurion season.
Yeah.
But you're not picking him.
You mean who's done a role outside of their own position?
No, but that's what I'm saying is, Martin, like when options are thin on the ground, you know that you've got... James Milner did it for years at City before he went to Liverpool and did it at Liverpool.
Yeah.
These players that are... They're not the best in their chosen position. They're not specialists, but they don't let you down.
Torres did it, didn't he? He was up top. And you could tell he was
Torres to a lesser extent. But Milner, Delph, and Zinchenko are all of that sort of same mould that if they were playing in the Italian league or the Spanish league even, they'd probably be in a starting 11 in their chosen position. But at Manchester City...
Or in the bottom half of the league. I mean, Delph was a very key player for Villa.
But at Manchester City...
in his chosen position.
You know, at Manchester City, we just thank them for their service that they provided the club, and we respect them. But there ain't none of us picking them in our... When everyone's fit, there's not one of us picking them in our starting 11. I'm sorry, which is unfortunate. But it's just the state of what we're at.
And ultimately, those players then have to make a decision about whether, and probably they want to do both in their career, whether they want to go and play week in, week out, in their chosen position, but maybe not get the silverware, or whether they want to get the silverware, but and play with a higher level of player at a higher club, and battle away to get to somewhere they maybe think.
Difference is, Rich, Zinchenko's got his medals.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. Zinchenko is the kind of guy.
City went, listen, I want to go and play for Southampton at camp
week in, week out. Absolutely.
Fine.
But that's the thing.
You know what?
Zinchenko, Martin, is the kind of guy that you want in your squad from age 18 to 35. But it's unrealistic and unfair to expect that you get to keep him for that long. And the fact of the matter is that Zinchenko will leave Manchester City at the end of this season, more than likely, with 4 Premier League winners' medals, 4 League Cups, and an FA Cup.
FA Cup.
That's fantastic.
Community Shield.
And he's still what is he? 25.
Yeah, he's got his medals to show his grandkids, unlike Harry Kane. So
there's one other player. Yeah, there's one other player I worry about that we might lose in the summer for a similar reason, who I think we would miss more and is more impactful possibly than Zinchenko, and that is Jesus. I'm a little bit worried that he is too good to be playing.
He's too good to be Solskjaer.
Like
what you're saying is he's too good to be Solskjaer, but he's not quite Cole and York. He's not quite Cole and York, but he's too good to be Solskjaer.
Yeah, and I do worry that at some point, again, he's you know, he's still got his place in the Brazil team and stuff like that in the main. But I do worry that with Alvarez comes, and if we get Haaland, that maybe it will be time then.
Why are we talking about Alvarez?
No. But I'm saying, you know, we'll see what happens. But I do worry that we're in a position now with Jesus that we either need to extend him, because I think he's got a couple of years left on his contract.
Well, not only that, he's got Sterling as well. I think
Sterling's leaving, but I'd hope that
Foden and Palmer and everyone.
I would hope, by the way, that when Zinchenko does leave the club, I would hope that when Zinchenko leaves the club, there isn't really going to be any City fan that's really going to have a bad word to say about him. Now, listen, when James Milner left the club, we didn't actually have a bad word to say about him until he became a Liverpool wanker, you know. But
yeah, until he opened his mouth, yeah. Yeah, and Zinchenko, I think, will go to the continent. I think he'll go to Italy or somewhere when he goes.
Yeah, I think Italy as well. And the other thing as well, Abdallah's just said there.
I've got Spain. Never mind.
Was I not in the middle of a sentence? Abdallah just said the board wanted to offer Gabby Jesus a new contract, and listen, Gabriel Jesus, like it or lump it, and I know that Gabriel Jesus, he is 50-50. You either love him or you're just indifferent about him. But trust me, Gabriel Jesus is the perfect Manchester City player in every single way.
Yeah, I think so. And I hope we re-sign him. You know, I hope we re-sign him, and I hope, you know, he gets games in the second half of the season, you know, like he did at the start of the season, because I think in those really big Champions League games, you know, he is, you know, one of our best players. And if we're playing, especially a team who's, you know, good on the attack and a team with good fullbacks, I want him one of the first names on the pitch, because he'll pin them back, he'll work his backside off, he'll get crosses in, he's not got a bad scoring record either, despite what people say, you know. So I want him there, and I hope that we can get that contract signed, because he's probably the player in a way I'm most worried about us losing.
Yeah, his goals to minutes, by the way, Rich.
Or someone.
His goals to minutes is not that far behind Aguero, which is kind of crazy.
He's the top 10 in Premier League ever, isn't he?
And secondly, a lot of people are talking about Sterling potentially going this summer. Now, this is going to sound really weird, because I am probably Sterling's biggest fan at City, because I hear a lot of people slagging him off, and we've had lots in our WhatsApp groups and all the rest of it. People are either in love with him or indifferent to him, pissed off about him missing from 3 yards out, all the rest of it. But if it came to the summer and Sterling left and Jesus stayed, I'd be all right with it. I really would. And that's weird, because like I say, I love Sterling. But if it was the other way around and Jesus left and Sterling stayed, I think I'd be a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I can go with that. You know, I think, you know, we probably, if we do sign, you know, a big number 9, we probably will lose someone. And, you know, I think who do I think would be best for us over the next 5 years? Jesus or Sterling, and what are their financial demands, etc. Then to me, I would probably take Jesus, because I just think he offers us that something that bit different. You know, and he is such a perfect pet player, and he just doesn't complain. It doesn't have the, you know, a lot of the nonsense that goes with Sterling, which 90% of which is not Sterling's fault in the slightest.
It's definitely not Sterling's fault.
Yeah.
The other one as well, before we wrap this stream up and Martin can have his final say for a couple of minutes, the other one is if Mahrez leaves in the summer, and I called it first, and I am confident. I don't necessarily want Mahrez to leave. I think he's been a good servant to the club since joining from Leicester. I certainly think we've got our value for money out of him. I remember games away at Brighton to sew up the league title in 18-19 that Mahrez sort of dragged us kicking and screaming over that line. But I think Mahrez at his age and his level of ambition, I think he's happy enough with the trophies he's won from England, and I do think that Mahrez will be one of the players leaving in the summer as well. I say to France, to Paris Saint-Germain or Monaco, but there is the other thing as well, which is I also believe that Mo Salah is going to be leaving Liverpool to go to PSG, so that might get in the way of Mahrez's move.
Yeah.
And I do think that City are going to... I think there's going to be 4 or 5 out this summer. I really do. I think there's going to be 4 or 5
the other
out.
one
for the big one.
Yeah. The other person I really want us to re-sign is Gundogan, because not only do I think he's going to be the player who's going to make the great manager out of our current proper players, so as a senior player will really help the others. I think with the young attacking midfielders we have, I think having Gundogan to bring them through will be very valuable. So I hope, if we're going to lose one of those older players,
you keep him.
Touch 30, I'd keep Gundogan and I'd let Mahrez go.
You keep him for the same reason.
10 times.
It's the same reason you keep Fernandinho. The legs have gone, but the brain hasn't. You keep them both for that reason. Now, Fernandinho, hopefully at the end of this season, will hang his boots up, but I hope that the club offer him some sort of coaching job. And the same for Ilkay Gundogan. I reckon we can squeeze another 2, maybe 3 seasons out of Ilkay Gundogan. Not playing every game, but playing 10. Next season, he'll play 20 games, the season after 15, and the season after 10. But I think we need to keep Ilkay Gundogan's brain at the club. Jack Lee just said there, Mahrez would prefer to go to Peterborough. I don't think Mahrez could find Peterborough. It's not that far from Leicestershire, but I still don't think he could find it. 0161 money on the map. Don't know what the area code for Peterborough is because I've never heard of it. Martin, over to you, final thoughts.
Oh, in the mud. Right, yeah, it's been a good night. Good result. 2-0, 12 points clear. We just got to keep ticking them off one game at a time. We travelled to Norwich on Saturday, 5:30 kickoff. There will be a watch-along. Yes. Watch-alongs are back Saturday night here on the Mancunian Way. It should be a good game. I'm really looking forward to that. And even with tonight's Premier League action, I can't wait for the 20 on Sunday. It has been, the Premier League's back with a bang. It is really back with a bang after the FA Cup. And 12 points clear. Can I just add as well, tonight is Pep's 100th clean sheet in the Premier League. Wow. Wow. Couldn't say that under a Kevin Keegan, could we? Really? 100 clean sheets. But yeah, 12 points clear. We've got a possible, I think it's 102, 104, something like that. 102, 104 points to play for. Could we possibly beat our own record? I hope so, but I think there'll be more twists and turns in this to go. But it's going to be a cracking end to the season. We're there now. We're past the wavelength, halfway line, and we're motoring on down. Rich, thank you, mate.
Thank you
for joining us and getting up, and everyone in the chat. Thank you. It is a real pleasure to see you all. If you don't mind, give it a thumbs up, and if you do want to, give it a subscribe as well. That would be good. And we do respond to all your comments, even if some of them are a bit silly.
Have you told them about the comment section, Martin? We do enjoy that you do type in the live streams, but when a video goes live on the channel, if you've got something to say, or something to contribute, or some criticism, or sack Rob, or make Martin smile, stop slouching, or Rich agenda against Liverpool, whatever it is, please type it below the video. Below the video, type it. We've got a big week coming up on the Mancunian Way. We've got tomorrow night's live stream over on Twitch, where we do videos on Twitch, contrary to popular belief in some regards, and we don't want any of your money at all. Anyone who feels the need to contribute or donate to us because they like what we do, that's of your own volition. Nothing to do with us. We don't encourage it. We don't dissuade it. Do it or don't. Doesn't matter. You can still watch us completely free. Other than that, big week Saturday. Saturday, I do believe that Martin Horsfield is going to be doing one of his famous watch-alongs. Watch-along, waffle-along, whatever it is. I'm going to buy him a 6-pack of Monster and make him drink them before the stream so that he's a bit more pepped up. Then we've got Sporting Lisbon. The post-match, then we've got the Sunday night Premier League show, the 20, which is going to be absolutely massive bumper episode of the 20 this week because there's 500 games gone on and a lot of them have been waffly waffles.
Tottenham have done a Tottenham. Spurs have gone
Spursy. There's been a lot of shaping down the bottom though. I think, There's some real winners and losers this week.
Burnley have absolutely put their big boy pants on, and they're going to be challenging for Europa League spots at this rate. And then Sporting Lisbon on Tuesday. So it's on the up and up for the Mancunian way. We do
watch along on that as well.
We do appreciate your support. We do appreciate you watching our videos, and we do in general we do appreciate you. Say whatever you want, Martin.
If you have got any issues, or you're not happy about anything, or you want it, on the off chance, give us a little bit of praise. Stick us an email. We will always respond to you. If there is something you're not happy with, give us a chat first. DM me, whatever. My DMs are open. Talk to me. Talk to Rob.
Oh yeah, that's the most important thing. Just to interrupt Martin for a second. If you want to know when and where we're going live and what we're doing, 30% less anger. Someone very near and dear to me got attacked at work. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Just bear with me and understand that I've got a real life, and Martin's got a real life, and Rich has got a real life, just as you have all got real life. We're not always going to be happy, clappy, entertaining seals. So yeah. But we'll always be here, we'll always persevere, and we'll always be genuine. And we appreciate and respect all of you. Thank you.
It is always hard because real life is still going on around us all, and we still have to come on and smile and carry on for all of you. And unfortunately, real life does come in a way. Everyone knows I've got off the field, off the screen problems. Robbers had a horrific week that nobody should have to deal with. And yes, we have not done as many Twitches as what we'd like. But you all know we've had internet issues. We've had real life issues. We are giving you as much as we can. There's still the TikToks going out. Instagrams are going out. Trust me, we are working doubly hard.
Yeah, and you want to know when and where we're doing stuff, follow Martin on Twitter, at Horsey City, the Mancunian Way Twitter. Follow that. It's Twitter. I got it right the first time. And on the screen right now, mancunianway1894@gmail.com. God, I wish that was 1880, but whatever. We move. We've had car issues, we've had internet issues, we've had real life issues, blah, 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 blah. But we're still here, and we still hope to entertain all of you. At Horsey City, go give it a follow on Twitter, and that's exactly how you'll find out exactly what we're doing when we're doing it. Thank you very much for your time, for your patience, for your love, and your support. We appreciate you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, follow us on MySpace, follow us on Tin Cans and String, follow us on Radar, Semaphore, Telegraph, Messenger, Carrier Pigeon. Bye, Martin.
Bye, Jack Lee. Jack Lee wants to know Peterborough.
I couldn't find Peter. I mean, I couldn't find Peterborough with both hands on a map.
Cheerio.
I've been there, but we move.
Champions League anthem. You don't want much, do you? Grindr. LinkedIn.
Yeah, we're on Grindr. We're on Grindr as well. Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Yeah. Pornhub. Martin After Dark. What else are we on? We're all over the place.
Yeah, and yeah, I was going to say something else, but it's not appropriate. So I won't say it.
Why not?
Because I'll tell you when we're off air.
Oh. Where else are we?
Netflix, Amazon Prime.
Big station, we're there as well. Welcome to Jurassic Park.